surface of the water.
Assumption number one, a vertical is a straight line.
That's okay. Make the same assumption. A vertical is a straight line.
Horizontal is perpendicular to it, right? Okay. Yeah. And horizontal is a plane.
In every case, horizontal is perpendicular to vertical. It's a really big ball. Okay. In every case.
And all perpendiculars to the horizontal plane will be parallel.
It's a really big ball to a horizontal plane, not to all horizontal planes. That's the problem.
No. All perpendiculars to a horizontal plane will be parallel.
It's a really big ball.
Yeah.
That would be true, but only one of those verticals is a plumb line. Okay, here we go. Bear with me for a second. I'll figure this out. Sea level is an arc. It's a really big ball. Mean sea level is an arc.
Mean sea level is a point. It's an average on a vertical. It can't be an arc.
Oh my God. Mean sea level. Oh my God. Mean sea level is established at a point, and it goes everywhere. And it goes everywhere. And it goes everywhere. Then yes, horizontals would be parallel to each other, but not planar. I don't think you understand it. Parallel to each other, but not planar. Yes, you check it. How big is a cloud, Bev? Can you not imagine a sphere, a basketball? It's a really big ball. There's no hump in space, Bev. Yes, you check it. If you're at sea level, that is falling away from a horizontal. It's falling away from you in every direction. You're standing on top of a ball.
Water levels don't fall away, though. We know how water flows.
Sure they do.
No, we know how water flows.
Horizontal, sure they do. And Rockia's bridge proved, 90 feet. You stand in the center of that bridge, either end of it is falling away from you by 90 feet. There's no hump.
So you're standing on the hump.
Oh my God. There's no hump.
But you just said that it's falling away at either side.
There's no hump.
Of course you're on the hump.
Can you not imagine a sphere, a basketball?
With you standing at the top of the hump.
There's no hump. Any point on it. On the side of it.
You standing on the side of a ball.
I don't think you understand it. On a ball, Bev. Standing on the earth, Bev. It's a really big ball. On a ball, Bev, on the side of it. No, they'll always show it horizontally.
I know.
There's no need to show it. We know it's curved. There's no hump.
What?
It's a really big ball. There's no point in going to the trouble of drawing a curve that you can't even see, Bev. There's no hump.
It's horizontal.
It's a really big ball. Oh my God. No, it's curved, Bev.
No, there's no curve to a horizontal.
In reality, elevations are curved. Are you trying to say that you can have other lines that are perpendicular to that horizontal plane? I will say absolutely you can. Not a one of them meets the description of vertical.
Vertical is perpendicular to the horizontal.
So
no, they would meet that description.
No, Deb, not by the definition that vertical is a plumb line. Yes, you check it. I know what you were doing, and it doesn't. I don't care what you were doing. I don't think you understand it. Absolutely, the two plumb lines tilt away from each other. Really big ball. Yes, you check it. Well, let's think about that, Bill. Those plumb lines are always diverging. Always. It's irrefutable. Yeah, that's the way you do a chart. If horizontals are perpendicular to verticals, what do you think?
No reason, no logic, no answers to question.
I think I destroyed you is what I think.
You're just on your own.
It's a really big ball.
There's no curvature in a horizontal, Blue.
Oh yeah, there it is. It shows the diverging verticals because of the measurement of the reciprocal zenith angles. It is as clear as day and it's irrefutable. That's the end of that story. Horizontals are not parallel. Verticals are not parallel. In reality, elevations are curved. Those verticals are not parallel. They cannot be. I'm not going along with it.
It's
And
the same
nope.
thing that help you.
Is there water and steel?
No, it's
Is there
not.
water and steel?
Not in steel, but
Live.
hot steel expand when it's hot and shrinks when it's cold. So it is. And the only way it will not, it's when you will not accept it. Everything expand when it's hot and shrinks when it's cold. It's
Yes,
just a lie.
that's reality. That's fact.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I know it. I
Oh,
know it.
Okay.
Did-
Okay. Just like meteorites are real. We have meteorites. Humans have picked up meteorites. They have clumps
No.
of meteorites. Like this is
No.
real.
No.
Well, it is. You can
Hey,
deny it all you
I've
want,
got
but it's
some.
real.
No,
I've got.
you
Has
can't
anybody
tell.
else got any meteorite? I've got some. You got some?
You can't tell because the deepest hole you got on the earth is 8
What?
miles.
Holes.
What does a hole
got
have to
not-
do with a meteorite? What does
You
a
don't
hole have to do
know-
with a
you don't
meteorite?
know-
I've got
You don't
meteorites.
know every kind of rocks that we have.
I got them in a breakfast cereal when I was a kid.
What?
My meteorites. Have you got any meteorite?
I can't get one because it doesn't exist.
Well, it does.
I've got
No.
some.
It does.
Got
It's
an
real.
official
It's
stamp
something
on
that.
them. Everything.
You're saying so.
Yeah, it's real. It exists.
No, it doesn't.
Well, it does.
No,
No,
I've
it
got
doesn't.
some. I've got some.
You got a rock from the surface of the earth, and you call
It's
it
not rock.
a
It's not
meteorite.
rock. It's
A
smell.
meteorite
Oh,
is something. It's
Right,
something
it picked up from
in
the
the
surface of the
fake
earth,
space.
but it didn't
Listen,
come from Earth.
a meteorite is something in the fake space. So
Oh,
when you will go there and catch a meteorite and come with it.
Wait a minute. Do you think space
try
is
to
fake?
prove you. Yeah, space is fake.
So you don't believe in the distance between physical objects? You don't.
No, I don't. I don't. Starting from the space, I don't believe in space because I can't believe that vacuum we can put air.
No, we
can
don't
put-
need to talk about vacuums just yet. Can we get a clarification then, right? Because I say space is the distance between physical objects.
Mhm.
Now that's
that's
real, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Jolly good.
Talking about that. I wasn't talking about that space. The space
Okay.
between you
Some
and me,
different sort of space.
or the space between me and the phone. I don't know how you take the words, how you understand the words. So we have to show you picture of.
Well,
the
what?
thing
No,
that-
what we do here, we specifically on this server. On this server, we specifically aim to deal with the trivium. So we're dealing with the grammar, the identity of space.
So if I am talking. You didn't know what space I was talking about. So
That's what
you
I
were
said. That was the
confused
space. Just
you were
clarifying that
confused when you were confused when I said space. So you did consider the word space I said
So do
as
you have a different
difference
space than
between,
that?
yeah. So you considered the
Okay.
word, you did it,
Can you
took
define your
the,
space then, please?
the space I'm talking about is the vacuum that the where there is all the galaxies, the fake space, the fake space. I said it, the fake space. You just didn't catch it
Sorry. Yeah, I mean,
because
sorry.
you want
I
because
only know what actual
you
space is.
want
I don't know
you
what the
just
fake,
I know
like,
understand you.
that
I
sounds like
I
a not.
I now understand you. You are you want to just disagree.
No, I
So
want to
you
clarify.
no, no, you didn't clarify. It was clear already.
Oh,
You
so
didn't
you
clarify.
were talking
So
about something that
if
was
if
fake,
I talk to
i.e.,
you,
not
so I
real.
no listen listen. If I talk to you, so I have to show you picture of what I'm saying. If I say a
No,
door,
you just have
so
to be able
you
to
will take it
describe
as
it.
your door, not any door. So if
No,
your
it's a,
door opens in left,
I was just
you make
clarifying your space, like, because you seem to define it as
I
something that was fake.
I was saying, I was talking about the fake space. Yeah, the fake space. The how you call it?
I
I
don't
don't know
know.
if you
I don't
if
know.
it's
That's why I
true.
was asking you. Can you
I
please
I
was
think I,
clarify?
I think the word you're looking for is the cosmos. Oh.
yes, that
Oh
one.
yes, the
Yeah,
cosmos.
that one. That
Yes,
one. The first,
glad we clarified the fake
yeah,
space here.
Like
yeah,
the
the place where
celestial
the place from where
or the
when it
sky.
was, yeah, yeah.
Which one? The celestial or the sky?
The celestial or the sky. I'm
Yeah.
talking about what? Where is the globe? Where when you imagine the globe, where will you put it?
It's just in your mind, mate. It's just in your mind.
Um, I don't believe in the globe. You think that I'm a globe
No,
town?
no, no. I'm telling you that everybody has the globe in their mind. That's what
Uh,
you're going to be able to talk about. Now, that we're talking about this space.
everybody has Santa Claus in their mind, but not everybody believe in Santa Claus. You have to make the difference.
But Santa Claus is still in your mind, right?
Was Santa
Yeah,
Claus ever real though? Did a Santa
So
Claus ever exist?
whether you believe it or not, it's still in your mind, right? And that's
yes.
the place where Santa Claus exists, in your mind, right?
So you call something not
That's the
material.
globe. That's where the globe is. Exactly the same place that Santa Claus is. Now, some people believe in Santa Claus, right? But it doesn't
Yeah.
make him real. It keeps it in the mind.
Okay.
Okay, that's where the globe is. Now,
Okay.
please tell
I
me. Now,
agree.
please tell me now. Where's this space that you were talking about? This fake space.
In
Where?
your mind,
Okay, so
in
the
your
fake
mind
space is in your mind.
is in your mind. Yeah,
Okay.
in my mind. So now you understood the space that I were talking about.
The fake space in your mind.
One. Yeah, that one. That
Okay.
one. That's the space from where you got the that's the that rock,
What rock?
the rock that you were talking about, the meteorite.
No, I got it from a breakfast cereal packet, like I said.
So it's a rock from Earth.
It's from a breakfast cereal packet, yeah. A meteor, it's
So
stamped.
it's a
I can
rock
give you the name. I don't
from
know
the
where
Earth.
it is. I think I've
So it's a rock from the Earth.
From a breakfast cereal packet.
Yes, so it's not
Shreddies.
from. So it doesn't came from I don't know where. It was here on the surface. It never left the surface of the earth.
It's a meat.
That was
It's a
that's the
It
thing.
meteor.
came
That's the
from
thing that I
space.
were talking about. That meteorite is from here, from the earth.
It's
But
real,
you
though,
What's the-
right? It is real.
It's a rock. It's a
Don't
rock.
tell me I haven't got it.
It's a rock. Yeah. You find the rock. I can find some big number of rocks. Yeah. You got a rock. You like
What
it.
is a meteorite? I'm just curious.
Ask him.
Well, no,
If
I'm
you-
asking you. You're claiming it doesn't exist. So what is it? What is a meteorite? Like, what's the definition of the word meteorite?
a meteorite is something in your mind, like he said.
No, it's real. These are
but there's-
actual
but-
things.
That one, it's a rock.
But there's a
They're not in my
definition for it.
mind. I'm gonna
That
get
one
you a
is it's
picture.
a rock. That one it's not a meteorite. A meteorite is only in your mind, in your imagination.
Well, that's
now
weird.
I would
But
play
what's
with
the
you.
definition of
Maybe you can
meteorite?
play.
What's the definition of meteorite?
A meteorite is a lie or is an imaginary rock that people think that came from space that is in their mind.
So that's your definition. But that's not the definition. So what is the definition?
The
If you
definition
don't ask him. You tell him if
No.
you want to. No,
No.
I'm saying if he wants to
please,
know
please,
the definition, he
Yes,
should say
you
it
just-
rather than asking you to get it for him, right?
Well, no, I want to know what the definition
Well,
is.
go
I'm
and get
asking
it.
somebody.
You
I
go and look
don't know.
yourself. Go and look yourself.
Oh no! Well, for me, for me the definition.
It's not up to him to give
it's a piece
you
of
a
debris that comes
definition.
from
You look that for yourself.
A piece of debris that comes from space is the easiest way to describe it. It's a
Debris.
meteorite
From where it comes?
from space.
The
Space,
guy,
yeah.
that I were talking with 10 seconds earlier
Yeah.
said that space is just in your imagination.
No,
In
I said,
his?
No, you said
space
it.
is
Just
the distance
imagination.
between physical objects. That's what I said. That's what
Okay.
space is.
So that meteorite you found it in the space between two rocks in the surface of the earth. Okay.
Found it
And
in a
this-
breakfast
Okay,
cereal
so-
packet.
Found it between the space.
Well, so
Listen.
the moon is
Listen.
further away. The moon is away from the planet, so there's space between the moon and the planet. So
Listen.
there's space. So it came from
That-
space, did it not?
No,
It's this distance. It's the
rock-
area between two objects. So between the
I'm
moon
playing
and the
this
planet, there's
triangle.
space. It came
Are
from
you
space.
saying? Do you say the
I'm
moon's a
playing
physical
this-
object?
No, listen.
Well, it is. It absolutely is a physical object.
Well,
Absolutely, it is.
How do you know that?
Listen for a second.
I
That
look
rock-
up with my
that rock-
telescope and I see a physical object there.
I believe you. I believe you. That rock, you got it from the space between the clouds and
weird,
the
isn't it?
ground. Okay.
Oh, you
You
asked me
got
where it
that
came from. I
rock
said it came from
from-
space. It came from the
Yeah,
space
the
between the
space
planet and the
between-
moon from space. So
the
definition's
space
right.
between- No, you can't say it because you found it in the space between
In
the,
a
the
breakfast
clouds
cereal
and the ground.
packet.
But if I
can.
saw the meteorite fall from space and land on the
Have
planet,
you
and
got?
then
Have
I
you got a
walked over-
meteorite as well?
I actually do. Yeah, I
Nice.
have a meteorite ring at home. Whether or not it's real meteorite, I don't actually know. It's kind of a gimmick, but I bought it. It's
Voila.
considered meteorite. Is it
That's
really?
what I
Yeah.
said. That's what I said, and that's the point. The guy who was talking to me has, for real, has correct.
Well, if he has a real meteorite, it comes from outer space. If it's a real
No.
meteorite, it comes from outer space. Absolutely.
Listen,
That's where it comes from.
Listen,
Come from a
meteorite-
breakfast cereal packet.
Meteorite is a rock that you can find.
It's
here.
not specifically a rock, actually, because there can be
Yes,
metals
yes,
actually in
yes,
meteorites.
yes,
Meteorites
yes.
can be made of a lot of things, not
It is-
specifically rocks.
This
They're
is
not a
metal,
mineral.
definitely.
Yeah.
So they could be more than just a rock. It could be metal. So I don't,
It is
it's a
definitely
piece of
metal.
debris.
Yeah,
It's a piece of
yeah,
debris.
Yeah.
It's what it is. It's a piece of debris that comes from outer space. That's really what it is.
I don't know where it comes from. A breakfast cereal, Shreddies.
Yeah, for you, it comes
found
from a
it
breakfast
here.
cereal box. You got it from
It's a
there, and
rock.
before
It's
that,
just
it
a
came
rock.
from outer
People
space.
are buying rocks and they think that they are gems. People,
To me, that's where
and you,
meteorites come from.
people
Breakfast
are
cereal
buying rocks
packets.
and they think that they are gems, and you bought a rock and you think that it is a
Actually, I
meteorite.
bought a piece of metal,
You
right?
got
I bought a
scammed.
piece of metal because a meteorite is not simply just a rock.
It's
It's
not.
debris. So it's
It's
very
not.
fluid in what its makeup is. It can be a lot of things.
Not. You didn't went there and you didn't got it from there. You got that rock from here. Okay?
Yeah, but that
When
doesn't
you
change the fact that it's a meteorite. A meteorite is space debris.
rock, yeah, a
It
space.
doesn't.
It's in the space between the clouds and the ground. Okay, it's not coming from somewhere else.
Between the moon and the planet, there's space between the moon and the planet, and the meteorite came from there. I mean, I'm
Yes.
using Bev's and yours as definitions. It works. It comes from space. It comes between the space between two physical objects. It works based on your reality.
Yeah, and Santa Claus come from the north.
Hey, you two guys, do you want to play a thingy game? You two would be good to do this with. Let me check this. Right. This is a thing I've got. So we'll start with this one in the live chat. Can you both see in the live chat? Cognitive dissonance check.
I know what is cognitive dissonance.
Okay. North, south, east, and west. Right? Do you imagine the cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west, are lines at right angles to each other?
What?
Do you imagine the cardinal directions, north, south, and east, west, are lines at right angles to each other, perpendicular?
East, west, north, south. No. If I want to play with it, I will put if I can take it in consideration in a plane surface, so in a flat map, the flat Earth map. I will put the south with the east or with the west, and it will work. But the north need to stay where it is.
Okay, so do you imagine that north, south, east, and west are lines at right angles to each other? This goes to you as well, Incarnation.
You want to say if they are parallel to each other?
They can't be parallel. They're perpendicular to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that what you think? Do you imagine that they are?
I don't understand.
What about you, Incarnation? What about you? Do you?
I don't understand what do you say? What do you want to say about it?
It's just asking. It's a very, very simple question. Do you imagine the cardinal directions of north, south, east, and west are lines at right angles to each other?
I never think about that. I swear. So if I have to answer you, I need to make research.
Okay, so you don't.
I never tried it. I never did think about it. So I can't say anything that will pass in my head, on top of my head. I need to give you a real answer for this.
Oh, the other guy's gone.
And I don't know what you want to say about with that.
He was afraid. I think he was afraid of that.
I know, yeah.
He's terrified of that.
It?
You read that and got terrified.
I don't want you to say anything, right? Just like whether you do or do not imagine whether they are.
Because you respond to things just quickly because you want to disagree with people to show that you know everything. So no, I'm not like you. I'm sorry. You think that I'm afraid because it's not your
I don't
method.
think you're
I'm not
afraid or
like to
anything.
talk about something that I don't know. I didn't. I
I'd say
never.
more a case of
think-
ECV myself.
I never tried to think about it, about what you were saying. I will think about it and I will answer you one day.
Okay.
Maybe.
Right. Well, the next question is,
Maybe not.
how many of the two straight lines do you imagine are circles?
Two straight lines
Yeah.
that makes circle.
North, south, east, and west. Cardinal
The,
directions.
the east, if you continue going to east, you will make a circle.
So
In the globe
one?
model, you continue going to north or to the east or to the southwest or northwest or northeast. In the globe model, you will make a circle.
Right. I was just asking you.
In my model, I have to just take the east and west
So you
to
have a
make it
circle.
like a Captain Cook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think you could answer that first one? You think that's why you may have had a problem with the first one?
Maybe I didn't understood what you said.
Okay, well, let's go
Now,
back to the first one again then. Do you imagine the cardinal directions of north, south, east, and west are lines at right angles to each other? I mean, it should be pretty obvious now, shouldn't it?
no, it's not for me. Can't, I can't tell.
Well, I'll give you a hint, right?
I answered the second question.
I know,
It
you've
doesn't
got a circle.
yeah, I got a circle.
So
Okay.
you don't imagine that they are lines at right angles to each other, do you? At least I hope not, because you've just said that one of them is a circle. So now you can see why you were hesitant to answer the first question, because you have to answer, no, you don't imagine that they're lines at right angles to each other. They can't be.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go. This is the next one.
Am I in an exam?
No, these are just memes.
Okay.
Okay. So next question, right? Look in the live chat. It says, do you believe or can you imagine a place where the only direction is south?
The only direction is south.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes.
Where there's no east or west.
Where is the no, I can have east, west, north, but if I choose to choose to just follow the south, I can make take any way to go to south in the flat, if I take the consideration of the flat model.
So you're considering a model.
Yes.
Okay, so do you believe or can you imagine a place where the only direction is south?
Yes.
Place where there's no east or west. South is every direction.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
next one.
can.
I should have got that. It's a bit better. And what about this then? It's a place where the only direction you can walk is north.
I walk. No, if I stand still, in one point, there is one point when you can stand still, and it is north everywhere.
Is there?
There is no. It's in the center of the pole. In the exact center of the pole. If you stand there, so you are in the north, and there is no south, no east, no west.
Are you sure?
But if you try to walk, south is everywhere.
Okay. So do you believe where there's a place where the only direction you can walk is north?
No, there isn't.
Okay, but there is for south.
Yes.
Okay. Last one.
And I will pass the test.
There's no pass or fail or anything on this.
I'm just joking. Man.
Yeah. What about this then? Because this is the.
I swear, I came here to chill. I'm not chilling now.
I know.
So
It's taxing, isn't it? Can you see the contradiction?
Cannot see. Yes. The one in the one in the left is specific. If you stand still in one point and the polar star, it's the north. It's only point. You don't have any other point. But the one in the right is everywhere. So there is contradiction. The one is the one in the right is everywhere, so the one in the left is just one point. It's nowhere.
Nowhere.
Just one point. You can if you make 1 foot, you go south. So the one in the right is the superior, is the one who that is ruling all the others.
The one that's ruling all the others.
Because if you can put south to replace the west, because if you go dead west, you will find yourself going in a circle. But if you try to go in straight line, you will find yourself in the south. Same thing if you go in east. Same thing if you go in north, and when you arrive to the north, so where you are north, but you consider the south and the north point in the north position south, because after the north it's just south. So even the south with the north point is momentarily, it's not constant. You are going to heading to the north before you pass in the north. When you pass the north point, so you are now heading to the south, and behind you it's the north.
Yeah, I think in order to know that you're going to be headed south, you could always head north.
Yes, and you can head everywhere, but you always know that you are heading south, because everywhere is south. You can, even if you don't face the north,
Everywhere.
you can face every point. You have a circle. You have 1 meter circle around you. You distribute it like the way you like. So if you had any point in that circle and you go in a straight line continuously, you are heading south.
Everywhere south. See, now I don't think like that. I have north, south, east, and west being
But
perpendicular.
listen. I know things about my model. I, now that the thing that I don't you heard about flat Earth, you heard about the shit I'm talking about, you heard about the
That
globe.
bullshit.
I'm not.
Yes.
I
I
want.
have
I want
plenty of
to
experience in
know.
that
I want.
particular
I
brand
want
of
to know.
bullshit.
I want to know what is your idea. What do you believe in? No, believing in something is just stupid thing to do. What do you understood from your research? What is the model that you consider?
We start at the beginning, and I can prove that level is horizontal.
You're
Shocker.
talking about yourself now or about the community here? But because when I came here, I found that I was confused. I couldn't know if people here were globe earthers or flat earthers or what. I did
What?
ask the lady here
Normally,
that
just don't give a shit about the thing.
no, but
Actually,
because the way people were talking to me, I couldn't understand what they believe in or what
probably
they
didn't give a shit about it, right? Normally,
what
I think that's the general consensus about it. Once you've been around people talking bullshit and literal bullshit for years, like it gets a bit old.
Mhm,
Really.
mhm. Yes.
So what we do is, and like we always have done, is we don't discuss and try and disprove other people's fantasies, or we don't really discuss other people's fantasies. What we do is we go to reality and we show people how we can prove these things in reality to ourselves.
What are these things? I want just to understand the thing. So uh, you call it Earth.
Called what?
I don't know the thing we living in the ground we're standing on. What is it for you? Because listen,
Reality.
I'm talking real. I'm not
That's
joking.
definitely
I'm
reality,
so
right? That's where we normally are standing on, or when we're going out to do our tests.
so what for you?
Reality.
For you, how it is? How it is? If I ask you to describe it for me, if you ask me to describe my model, I will tell you what like I did, what I know about my model, how it is. If it is a flat surface, and I will make specification. I will tell you that I'm not talking about the macro subject. I'm talking about the map we live in. The things we know. I can't talk about things I don't know. So uh, when I choose a name for this model, I choose flat Earth because I don't believe in the Earth like the flat Earth society, or I'm talking about the shape of the surface of the map we live in. You, if you want to describe your model, how is your model? Because okay, it's you said you wanted to correct me earlier, and you said it's not flat. It's not flat.
Absolutely not flat.
It is curved.
Reality is the model I would sort of go
Listen,
with.
I want to clarify a point. I'm not talking about the mountain.
He's not going to answer your
Mountains away.
question. I'm telling you right now, he's not going to answer your question. So you either move on to a different subject because he's just simply not going to answer it. It's going to be reality is going to be your answer every time. So
Yeah,
I strongly
is that
suggest you
not an
move on.
answer?
Strongly suggest you move on from their
Is
shape
that not
of-
an answer? Is reality not good enough?
Not, I mean, sure, for you, my reality is we live in a continuously curved surface. Your reality is something else. It's very hard to decipher what exactly reality is, but that's fine, man. Like, it's fine. That's your reality. There's nothing wrong with that.
You see, I'm a flat earther. He is a globe earther. I can't understand your model. He can't understand.
He doesn't have.
I
Excuse
don't
me.
have an idea about what you're talking. You were trying to correct me.
So
I
look,
have an
20.
idea about what I'm talking about. So I made meters. So when
So
I'm
look,
talking,
look how far your eyes can see, and that's the reality in which he operates in. That's what he does.
Yeah,
That's literally what he does.
reality,
Easiest
yes.
way to describe it. What your eyes can see is what he deems
No,
real.
dude, reality. Don't
That's
answer. Don't answer for me, because you're the guy, if you remember, that hasn't got a clue on anything.
Wow, I got a clue on the shape of the Earth. That's for sure.
But what's the shape of the Earth?
Continuously curved surface. It's the easiest way to describe it.
What's that?
Continuously curved.
What's that?
A continuously curved surface.
Does
So
it curve? Does it curve up?
It curves down. A continuously curved surface,
But it does curve up.
creating a sphere.
It does curve up.
Do you want to look at perspective? Actually, no. From perspective, it doesn't. It'll always curve down.
No, it does actually curve up.
The planet does not. From the surface, the planet does not. Any which direction you're going to look in on a continuously curved surface, it will curve downwards.
Listen,
There are curves going up. Like, wait a minute.
And-
Well, no,
and-
don't you jump in. He's talking
There
to me. He doesn't need somebody else interjecting. Right? Because at the minute, we've got a guy who's obviously globe fanatic, who knows absolutely nothing about his model. I explained that last night. Right? And now we've got another competing flat earther that is asking me about my model of reality. The globe guy that knows nothing about his model, about whatever he's thinking about, he's trying to answer for me.
So the globe guy that actually knows his model and can actually explain it.
Go on, explain your model then.
On a continuously
reality.
Continuously curved reality. Let's call it that. We live in a continuously curved reality, whereby if you take any horizontal line, they will never be parallel to one to another. That's the reality we live in.
How big's the horizontal line? You say any. Let's take a horizontal line.
Any vertical, any two verticals will not be parallel.
You said horizontal. You just swapped it.
I meant vertical. My apologies. Okay. Horizontal lines will always be horizontal lines. That's never going to change.
So how large of a horizontal line do you imagine you could have?
Large in width or length?
Just a horizontal line, dude.
You used large, so large would dictate something, a measurement of width, whereas length, is length. So are we talking about distance? We're talking about how far this horizontal line would go, as we went through yesterday. You take a plumb line at point A, which is mile 0. You go 10 miles further and you set up another plumb. Your horizontal line at plumb A will not be perpendicular at plumb B. That is reality. You can claim I know nothing about my model, and that's fine. It doesn't change the fact that that is the reality in which we live in.
That you can have perpendiculars to horizontal, though, right? And
Only
vertical.
at the point where you put your plumb. Yes, only at that point. There will be no 2 points where there will be a horizontal line from point A to point B. It won't happen.
So you saying you can't have a horizontal line from point A to point B?
Not at the same elevation. Nope.
What would you call that line from point A to point B at the same elevation?
I don't know. It depends. It would be a line in this case. It's really just a line.
Okay. Would that be shorter or longer than the horizontal?
Well, that would depend on where you put your horizontal line on the vertical lines. Seeing as they're not perpendicular, they will increase in distance.
Well, you can have a vertical at A and a vertical at B, right?
Right, and if you plumb your verticals at A and B, that means that the further away you go from your center will be further apart. So depending on how further apart, this is basic geometry. You already know this. You've actually went through this yesterday.
So you can have a vertical at A and a vertical at B, and you can have a straight line from A to B. Now,
yeah, you can.
Can you have a perpendicular at A to the line AB?
Nope.
And can you have a perpendicular at B to the line AB?
No, it will only be perpendicular at your plumb spot. So where your horizontal line, your little cross starts, that's where it's perpendicular. It will not be perpendicular if you start at point A and you're 10 miles away at point B. It will not be perpendicular at point B.
But you can have a perpendicular to the line AB.
To your vertical, yes. You'll set up your perpendicular based off your vertical. Your vertical is dictated by gravity. It's really that simple.
No, this one really is dictated by the line AB. The points A and B are the 2 points to make the original line.
And if you're taking your point A and point B are both verticals, the only way you've established your verticals in reality is using a plumb.
It's just points, aren't they?
Oh, well, the points are referring to something. So your vertical comes from somewhere. You've established your vertical somehow. And the way you established your vertical in this reality is using a plumb. And a way a plumb works is with gravity.
But we're just talking about the line from A to B.
Yes, the line from A to B will have a different distance depending on how high you draw the line.
Sorry?
So the further away you are from the center, the more distance you'll have between point A and point B.
Oh, I get it. So line AB will have a greater distance if you elevate it.
The further away you are from the center. We don't even need to go into elevation. The further away you are from the center.
Right. Well, wait a minute. Let's say I've got a ruler. I've got a ruler, 30 centimeter ruler, right here on the ground. Yep. Now I'm going to get on an aeroplane, and we're going to go up.
Yep.
Does the ruler get bigger, or do I have to add a bit onto the ruler as I go up?
Well, that depends. Are you measuring 30 centimeters from the surface and then measuring from those two same verticals 30 centimeters in the air? Or are you just taking
the distance from A to B?
You're just taking a ruler and saying this is a ruler is 30 centimeters, then yeah, it's 30 centimeters in altitude like it is on the surface. But we're not referencing that from verticals.
But then if we go up though, right? Because would you measure the distance between those two verticals?
We've already been through this. You will never be able to compensate for curvature on 30 centimeters. We've been through this. Increase the 30 centimeters to 30 kilometers, then your conversation changes.
Yeah, completely. But what if we just go up?
Again, you're using 30 centimeters. So at 30 centimeters, you're not going to need to compensate. It's just that simple. But if you take that 30 centimeters and you turn it into 30 kilometers, you will have to. So what I said yesterday, when you increase the distances, this is where
the height, you said just before. You increase the height, you increase the distance.
height between your, yes, the height of your two verticals. Your verticals go endlessly in one direction, and your horizontals go endlessly in another direction.
So, but the horizontal that's comporting to the verticals, according to you, gets bigger as you go higher.
If you have two verticals, yes. If you set two verticals, which are, again, the starting point is at the center, the further away you move from the center, the further apart those two verticals will be.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So when you have a ruler that's 30 centimeters at sort of sea level,
30 meters, you're not going to see it.
But what if you go up really high? Like really high?
Distance is 30 centimeters, so it doesn't matter. The distance is 30 centimeters. It doesn't matter.
But the distance between the 2 points gets bigger as you go higher. You said.
Yes. So if you take point
does
A,
does the ruler get bigger as you go higher, or does the distance that the ruler should have been measuring get bigger? Like, do you need a bigger ruler? Like, do you need like a meter stick rather than like a 30 centimeter ruler if you go up high enough?
If you're measuring 30 centimeters on the surface of the planet, and you set up a vertical lines from a plumb 30 centimeters apart from each other, and you go 10,000 feet up in the air, you somehow are able to follow those two vertical lines, they will be more than 30 centimeters. Yes.
Right, so you wouldn't have the 30 centimeters just getting bigger proportional to the split. You actually increase the distance.
Yes. The distance between point A and point B will increase the further away from the center you are. Yes.
Okay, so that means that aeroplanes have to fly further the higher they go up, because the distance gets bigger.
Compared to the surface, yes, they do. Absolutely, they do. Absolutely, they do.
Is there just more space up there then?
There's more, yes, call it space. Yep, there's more space up there. By your definition,
so the airplane doesn't actually get bigger?
No, the airplane doesn't get bigger. Nope.
Okay.
It gets a little lighter because it's further up in the atmosphere. It gets a little lighter, but it doesn't get bigger.
Wouldn't they want to, like, fly as low as possible then?
No, they want to fly as high as possible because there's less atmospheric pressure and means there's less resistance on the plane. So the higher you go, the faster you can go. But
you've got to go further.
You've got to go faster as well.
You've got to go further.
And faster. So the higher you go, the easier it is to go fast, but you need to go faster in order for it to actually work, if that makes any sense.
Burning more fuel and all of that.
You're burning less fuel at higher in altitude, you'll burn less fuel because you're fighting less atmosphere.
Less air.
Less air. There's just less air, so there's less air to have to cut between. So the plane at higher atmosphere actually flies smoother, we'll call it that. It does require you to go faster, which in turn burns more fuel, but you get there faster, and because there's less resistance, you're technically not burning as much fuel. That's why commercial airlines like to stay at 20, 30,000 feet, because it's a nice sweet spot for them where they can calculate their fuel very, very efficiently.
Are you a pilot?
No, I have basic understandings of how our reality works. This is all basic stuff.
Okay. Distances getting bigger.
The distances don't get bigger. There's just more distance to cover. So your 30 centimeters stays 30 centimeters. It's just there's more distance to cover the higher you are.
Okay. Wouldn't that be difficult, though, for mapping?
Yes, it's very difficult for mapping. Mapping is very difficult. It's always been a struggle to take a three-dimensional shape such as the planet and make it into a map. It's always been a problem. No map, I would argue that there isn't a single accurate map made for the entirety of the planet. There's very accurate maps made for specific areas because you can scale it down, and it's a lot easier to be accurate on a smaller surface area, but a world map, I would say, is inaccurate. I don't think there's a single accurate world map that properly has the scales of everything correctly. because it's nearly impossible.
Have you ever heard of a non-developable
It's hard
surface?
to take something 3D and make it 2D.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of a non-developable surface?
No. What's a non-developable surface? Enlighten me.
A surface that you cannot express on a two-dimensional plane without distortion.
Okay. Sure. Yes.
Now,
Yeah. Okay.
you say there's more space as you get higher.
There's more distance to cover and relative to the surface. Yes.
Right. So that means that if you are in mountainous terrain, what would be 30 centimeters, 1 meter at sea level, right, has to be more than a meter higher up.
We're talking elevation here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So what we have is contour lines on maps.
Yeah.
Are you saying that, like, if you get to the top of a mountain and you were to measure the distance, it would be more than that actual distance on the plan, like the map?
So let's visualize this a little bit. You have a mountain. Let's call a center point the mountain, and you draw a straight vertical down to the surface. Okay. You have another mountain that's
down to the surface of the mountain.
Yeah, well, just so you can have a vertical, because you need a vertical to understand this. So you have a mountain, and you're at the top of the mountain. You're asking me if there's a difference between the top of the mountain and on the surface. Is what?
I'm just saying. You just said that there's more space the higher elevation you've got.
There's more distance to travel. Yes.
Right, but that would be measured as a straight line on the map.
Well, yes, but the map would have a whole whackload of different.
Normally just has one scale, like for the entire map.
It depends on. Again, that's what I mean by a world map is incredibly inaccurate.
No, we're just talking about maps.
Yes, a flat world map is very inaccurate. It does not display the world as it is.
Stop talking about the world. We're talking about a mountain.
Okay, what are you getting to about the mountain?
So let's get a map, right, with a mountain on it, not a world map, just a normal map with a mountain on it.
Okay,
now, you're saying the higher you go up, the more space there is between A and B.
Relative to the surface, yes.
Okay, so how do you depict that on a map when they have elevation changes on the map?
What map looks at airspace?
Talking about airspace, we're talking about elevation changes on the map.
We're talking about the space here. You're talking about space in the air.
No, we're not. We're talking about the elevation changes of the land, and you saying there's more space,
more distance to cover. Yes.
Higher. Okay. Now, how do you depict that on a map?
The same way. You can't depict it on a map. You can't, because a map is relative to the surface. The map doesn't care about the air and the curvature of the fucking earth. Like, it doesn't care about it. There has compensations in the map, but the map itself in 2D form. The maps that we have today compensate for the fact that we live on a globe.
Do they?
Yes, they do.
How? You know, remember that bit about non-developable surfaces?
Southern hemisphere. Yeah, and?
Well, you cannot depict a non-developable surface on a two-dimensional plane without distortion. But yet you're saying... that there is no distortion, yet you're saying there's more distortion the higher elevation you go, with the distance from A to B.
No, What I'm saying is from point A, because if you wanted to travel from the top of a mountain to the top of another mountain, okay, and your starting point is the middle of the mountain, you have more distance to travel at the top of the mountain from point A to point B than you would at the bottom of the mountain. The distance will be based on how
the
high
bottom of the mountain
you
was obviously, if you walk down the other side of the mountain, there would be a larger distance for you to walk.
I don't know. What's the slope? What's the grade of the slope? How much?
You said the bottom of the mountain. The bottom of the mountain is on the land.
Take a vertical. Take literally a vertical line. Put it in the middle of the mountain. Okay? And calculate the distance on the surface level between mountain A and mountain B, both of which have a vertical line in them right at the center. You will have more distance to travel at the peak of the mountain than you will at the surface. Yes.
Yeah, because you've got to go all the way down the
How
mountain.
would you prove that? No, hang on, Bev. How would you go about proving that?
Simple spherical geometry. You guys have proven it in this chat time and time over.
What?
No, spherical geometry is only two-dimensional. Don't be ridiculous.
What are you talking about? Spherical geometry accounts for the fact that we live on a...
Is only two-dimensional.
Spherical geometry is literally the geometry we came up with because we realized we live on a sphere.
But it's only two-dimensional.
It doesn't matter. The angles, everything, all the calculations about spherical geography work in our reality when you scale the distances properly. Yes. This is why you guys in this chat...
Did you say spherical geography?
Geometry. Not geography. Geometry.
Okay. That's the geometry that you came up with because you figured out you lived on a globe.
I didn't
with mountains.
Yeah, you didn't
come up. I didn't come up with spherical geometry.
No, you haven't got a clue about it.
Just like you didn't come up. What's that?
You haven't got a clue about it, have you?
About spherical geometry?
Yes, you have not got a clue about it, have you?
Well, I could wager that neither do you.
Well, I would say that I do have imaginometry on my side and an understanding of...
Yeah, we can bring up all the citations you want.
Bev, the mere fact you don't understand how plumb bobs work means you don't understand literally...
What do you mean you don't understand how plumb bobs work?
You don't understand how plumb bobs work.
Have you ever used a plumb bob?
Many times, yes. How does a plumb bob work?
What was it for?
To establish a vertical.
Right. For what purpose?
To establish a vertical for a wall.
A wall.
Many different things.
Were you building? Were you building a wall?
Me personally, no. I drew the plans for it. Yes.
Okay. So, did you use the plumb bob for the builders to build the wall? Because we were talking about you using a plumb bob. And for what purpose?
To establish a vertical. Again, do you understand how a plumb bob works?
Absolutely, yes.
How does a plumb bob work? Please explain to me how a plumb bob works.
What you do is you hang it from a nail or a point or something, and then the plumb bob establishes a vertical.
Right, and how does the plumb bob establish the vertical, Bev?
How? Just like that. How? Exactly. You hang it. It hangs.
You hang it
perpendicular.
So there is a weight. There is a weight to it, right? And when you put a weight on a string and you hang it, it gives you a vertical. That's how a plumb bob works. Weight is a function of gravity. So a plumb bob is dependent on gravity to establish a vertical. So if you deny that particular spot, then everything else you do afterwards is irrelevant.
Mm-hmm. So a plumb bob establishes a vertical.
Yes.
Okay, so we are established that we do understand how a plumb bob works.
No, I think you understand that a plumb bob establishes a vertical. I don't think you understand how a plumb bob establishes a vertical. I don't think you do.
You hang it, don't you?
Right, and there's with a weight. And the weight is what establishes your vertical.
That's what the plumb bob is.
No, the plumb bob has a weight in order to straighten the string out. Because if you just hang a string out, it will not fall perfectly straight. So you put a weight on a string, and it will establish your vertical. Why? Because
that's
the vertical.
called a plumb bob.
That's
Without
right. It is
without
so
the plumb bob,
you agree?
it's
So
just
agree,
a
plumb bob works-
string.
So can you agree that a plumb bob only works with gravity?
Right? Can we agree that a plumb bob without the plumb bob is just a string?
So can we agree that a plumb bob only works with gravity?
Can we establish that the plumb bob doesn't work without the plumb bob?
So a plumb bob as a complete piece.
It's not
right?
a piece of string, is it?
It's a string with a weight. It is literally all it is. It is
Right,
a
I
string
know
with a
you
weight.
keep saying that, and we do know that.
That's what
That's called
it is.
a plumb bob.
Right. So
Right.
so you're in agreement that a plumb bob only works with gravity.
It works in reality. Only
That's
works in reality.
The only way it works is because there's a downward vector. You can hand wave this all you want. You can hide and
I'm
run
not
away from
hand
it.
waving it. We all know how a plumb
Well,
bob works. You're not
but
you're
you-
not being a genius scientist by saying that a
This is
plumb
basic-
bob works by hanging down
can't even-
in a straight
admit-
line.
Can't even admit that a plumb bob only works with gravity. You can't even admit that.
It
Once
only
you
works
admit
in reality.
reality has gravity, so the only way a plumb bob works is with gravity. If not, it doesn't work.
Doesn't work when there's any motion, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. So in order for a plumb bob to work, there has to be zero motion.
Detectable motion, yeah, absolutely.
Motionless.
Bev,
Oh, so now you're going to
Okay.
claim that the planet is motionless. Yes, this is where we're going.
No,
but
we
you're
just
wrong.
said that plumb bobs work.
Yes,
Do plumb bobs work when there is no motion?
yeah. So if you're
now
not
we
moving,
are establishing how a plumb bob works.
yes,
Remember,
you hang it
because
up.
you were the one that brought it up.
Well, yes, because you're
Okay.
still not answering the question, right? The weight, which is again, weight is dependent on gravity. The weight is what gives you your straight line. Without that weight, you don't have a straight line. Hence why a plumb bob as a unit has a string and a weight. Now,
Mhm.
again, what is the weight's relation to a plumb bob? It establishes the vertical
You can
because it
hang a
needs
plumb
gravity.
bob in a car, can't you?
Yeah, and it still has gravity taking it.
And you're driving round.
And what's
Does
gravity?
it establish a vertical?
stop giving them gravity.
If you're not moving, the second you start moving, then the laws of motion start to take into place, and no, you can't really establish a vertical.
Okay, so that's one of the how a plumb bob works is for you to have no motion. You fix
Yes.
it to a fixed position and then
Yes.
you hang it.
And then you hang it, and its downward vector is what establishes the vertical.
That's
And
what
where is it
vertical
going?
is.
And then what is the downward vector? It is gravity.
It's
So because
vertical.
we live, and vertical is different on every spot of the planet.
Vertical's
Why?
always vertical. It's not different. It's the same.
Based off where
It's
you
the
are.
same as
No two,
vertical. Vertical's
two verticals are
always the
parallel.
same.
so no two verticals are parallel then, right?
That would mean that vertical was every direction.
No, that would mean that vertical is really its point of orientation is down, really, if anything. But vertical, the way we establish vertical is by hanging a plumb bob. That plumb bob is wholly dependent on gravity.
You know,
So
we
if
were
we're-
talking to what's your face before. What was he called? I don't know if he's still here.
I don't know, Sean.
Yeah.
Is it-
No, the other guy, because he had, if you go north, you eventually go south, right?
Yeah,
And
if you go far enough. Yeah, if you go far enough north, eventually you'll go south. Yeah.
Okay,
not
and
a-
if you go far enough down, you'll
If you go far
eventually
enough-
go up.
If you go far enough south, you'll eventually go up. And if you could dig a hole through the planet, eventually your down will turn into an up. Yes.
Mm.
Once you cross the center, it then becomes up.
Okay, so north becomes south, south
No,
becomes north. No?
Down is towards the center. North, south, east, and west have nothing to do with up or down.
No, I'm just pointing out your model If you walk north, you'll eventually go south.
Yes.
And if you walk south, you'll eventually go north.
Yeah, it's because we live
And
on
if
a
you
sphere.
go down, you'll
You will
eventually go up.
In theory, yes.
And if you go up,
You will never go down. Only because gravity takes you down. But if gravity is not a problem, then you're just going up, and there is no down. But with gravity,
does up disappear at any point?
If you lose your relation to the surface, yes. Because
And then
up
what
is
does up turn into then?
well, then you're in outer space, and then everything changes. So then you would have to find another gravitational pull to establish your up and down.
Yeah, what sort of how would you orientate yourself? Is that where north, south, east, west, up and down just disappear?
Well, they're all a function of the planet we live on. Once you leave the planet, those calculations and those formulas kind of don't really work anymore, except for the laws of gravitation that still work fairly well, and laws of thermodynamics that still work well, and
So
laws
that's
of
up
motion.
and down then. That up and down still works.
Up and down is established based off of whatever point is drawing you in, or whatever gravitational pull you're in.
Okay. So that could be you.
Sure, yeah, you could establish me as the center of mass in the middle of absolutely nowhere.
So would that
Sure.
mean that up is away from you?
If I'm the center of mass, up would be all directions away from the center of my body.
Okay.
So find the center of my.
If you were ever to travel anywhere, you'd always be going up, because you'd be always going away from the center of you.
Well, no, because right now we're establishing that up is the center of the Earth, or if you want to use me.
No, we were dealing with what happens when you leave that sense of what's real, right, and go into this.
Well, when you leave the planet and you go into outer space, right, you then have to establish, depending on which celestial body you're going on, will then establish your up and down. When you're in the middle of floating in space, there is no up and down.
But like we just said, wouldn't you become the center?
If I'm the center of mass and everything is then attracted to me, then sure, you can apply that same law of gravitational to me. Sure, yes, you can.
Okay, so then every direction away from you would be up.
Yes, if I'm in the middle of space with nothing around me, and yeah, that would technically be true.
Nice,
yes.
Nice.
Yeah. Theory of relativity is an amazing thing.
Yeah, it sounds great.
It's an amazing thing. Incredible that somebody.
A place where the only direction is up. And up is every direction.
Direction is based off of whatever is establishing the gravitational field, the gravitational pull. That's how you dictate up and down.
The monad.
Oh.
The monad dictates all. Everything. Up, down, north, south, east, west.
Again, we're talking on from the surface of the planet. So from the surface of the planet down towards the center, up is away from the center, north, east, south, and west. They are longitude and they're fucking coordinates. Like they're made for navigation. Don't really hold a relevance in.
I think north, south, east, and west are straight lines perpendicular to each other.
I mean, they're curved because we live on a sphere, but they're not wrong.
Perpendiculars aren't curved.
Well, a perpendicular is really just a vertical and a horizontal being established. But if you live on a curve and you take one line, you're one horizontal, and you wrap it around the planet, it still works.
We were talking about north, south, east, and west.
Yeah, I mean, you could travel endlessly west and get back to the same spot you were, much like you can travel endlessly north and get back to the same spot you were. So, I don't really know what that has to do with up and down. It really has nothing to do with it.
Well, like I said, I consider north, south, east, and west as two lines perpendicular to each other.
Okay, that's fine.
But it's a bit hard to get a straight line to return back on itself.
It depends where you're relating it to. If you're relating it to our reality, which is the globe, that's exactly what happens. If you travel
Straight
endlessly
lines
west,
don't return back on themselves.
well, on a sphere they do.
They wouldn't be straight lines then, would they?
Well, they would be in the perspective of a spherical world. Yes, they would. They're not changing directions. They're straight. They're straight. They're straight. Really, at the end of the day, they're straight. They contour the Earth, but they're still straight.
Contours are.
Yeah, they circumvent. Sure, you want to use the proper word here. They circumvent or circumnavigate. Sorry, the globe. Yes, that's what happens in reality. Our reality that we all live in. That's what happens.
Straight lines.
So you can deny that all you want. That's fine. But
you realize like that circum is like comes from circumference, and circumferences aren't straight.
Okay. What's your point?
That straight lines don't return back on themselves.
If I build a straight
Can I have 10 seconds, Bev?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, go on.
This is for you. Your cognitive dissonance is really bad when your appeal to gravity is so strong, when you don't even know what gravity is. Thank you very much.
Are you saying that to me?
Yes, sir.
You're saying that to me? I don't know what gravity is.
Yeah. Repeat it again. Maybe if you repeat it again, it'll help.
Gravity is the downward vector towards the center of mass.
Vertical.
That's literally what gravity is. It's what establishes your vertical. We live on a sphere.
Yeah.
Parallel verticals.
What if I hang on. What if I got a rock, tied a string around the rock, and then I got a helium balloon. And I tied it to the other end of the string.
Yeah. What about it? If you have enough helium that can counteract the weight of the rock, it'll float up. What's the point?
I'm not trying to counteract the weight of the rock. I'm trying to create a vertical with up, idiot.
Well, then your helium is moving all the time, idiot, so you wouldn't be able to really establish a vertical because you're not. If you listen to Bev's last 30 minutes, he would tell you that a plumb, if you're going to establish a plumb or a vertical...
Put it all in a box. Shut up. Put it all in a box so there's no wind. Put it all in a box. Put the rock, the string, and the balloon in a box. A vacuum box.
So if your balloon is stable and it doesn't move, then yeah, you could establish a vertical. Sure.
There you go. Thank you. No gravity.
So no gravity required.
Helium only works with gravity. You know that, right? Like buoyancy is a factor of gravity. You don't have buoyancy without.
God.
So
it's
sorry,
just
but
vertical, man. It's a straight line, isn't it?
Somebody else brought it.
This guy's model of fiction is horrible.
Hey, my model of reality is accurate. Sorry, you guys are inaccurate. Can't do anything about it. You want to deny reality, you're more than welcome to, but the reality that I talk about is real. It's what we live in. That's our world. Call it whatever you want. Call it affliction, call it dogma, call it what you want. Reality is reality.
Yeah, we know what reality is.
Well, I'm not sure you do. You play some funny games with reality.
I don't think you do really know what you're talking about.
The
moment you actually start talking about reality, you start running. Your mind wanders.
No, my mind is grounded. Actually, grounded on Earth. I speak factual things backed up by literally thousands of years of research, science, mathematics. Everything I tell you is supported.
Thousands of years.
I don't need to. I can read. I can read these and make them myself. Yeah, absolutely. I don't need to go against the consensus of literally 99% of the world. I really don't. I don't need to go against the consensus.
You do have an awful lot of people behind you. It does sound like that anyway. But I think that's misplaced.
Well, you can think that all you want, but I do have billions of people that agree with me because I have a basic understanding of our reality.
Billions.
Billions, yes, billions.
billions and billions of miles away.
And
Billions.
billions.
Have you done a consensus
On
this billions of people that agree with you? And like,
how many
what's the
people-
main thing that a billion people would agree with you on?
that we live on a sphere.
Mm-hmm.
And the gravity's real.
And yeah, gravity is real.
Well,
absolutely.
vertical
Yeah, but-
is vertical.
Yeah, absolutely. And vertical is established with gravity.
And it's definitely a straight line.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that.
Okay, you know some people would.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that. A vertical is a straight line started from the center of whatever it is you're measuring. In this case, the planet. So yeah, it's a straight line. There's no argument there. We'll never argue.
Don't
that,
mention 90.
Right? Oh.
Yeah, I don't think you're fully aware of the consequences that come
Consequences of what?
a straight line.
Why?
Because there's
Why?
simple
It's-
principles of a straight line.
Well, sure. Can you not have a vertical line that goes endlessly? If you take a vertical line and you extend it endlessly, would it not go straight up? In the case of what the reality we live in.
Horizontal?
No, I'm
Perpendicular
talking
to
about a
horizontal?
vertical.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a vertical line. Can a vertical
Perpendicular,
line not
horizontal.
travel up endlessly?
It's a
Can
straight line.
vertical
It's
line?
a straight
Can a
line.
does a vertical line not travel straight up endlessly?
You have problems doing that because you're talking
Yeah,
about
sure,
a plumb.
sure.
No, Rob, he's talking about a plumb line.
Yeah.
Oh no,
plumb line.
You have
yeah,
to
it's only
hang
so
it
long.
at the top.
A plumb line is a vertical line.
Yeah, but you
So-
hang
so-
it. You hang it at a point,
Yeah.
right? It
And
doesn't
that is and-
doesn't extend above that, does it?
well, if you take an imaginary line from that point and you extend it endlessly, yeah, it'll go up endlessly. What's flawed in that?
Is that a plumb line?
Yes, vertical line is a plumb line. Yeah, it's established
But a
by
plumb
gravity.
line. Does a plumb line work upwards,
A plumb
or is
line
it
works
something
by having.
hanging down by
I don't know. Can a line go in?
line?
Can a line go in two directions?
But is a plumb bob a perpendicular hanging down by a
Yes,
straight line?
absolutely. Why is it hanging down? Because it's forced down by gravity. But if you take that string and you put it as high as you can, you'll have an endlessly high vertical line. That doesn't change. It doesn't matter. Why does that change? Why does that matter?
What would you put it on? What would you hang it on?
Wow, if I could build a 77-story skyscraper and hang a plumb bob 77 stories, it'll be a 77-story high vertical line.
It would be hanging down, though, right? Wouldn't it?
Well, again, we've established that a plumb bob only works with gravity, so naturally it would have to be hanging down.
Okay, so can we stop the up then? Because it's hanging down.
Well, a vertical line can go in each direction, much like a horizontal line can travel
But
endlessly.
a plumb bob is a tool that hangs down.
To establish a vertical line. So once you've established that vertical line, you can extend it endlessly.
Does the same work for a horizontal?
Yes. Yes, it does.
So all of the
And you still don't get it.
All of the perpendiculars to the horizontal.
I don't get what? What don't I get exactly?
The perpendiculars to the horizontal.
They're perpendicular wherever you establish a vertical. So because we live on a globe, there are
Right.
no two parallel verticals. We've been through this before.
The horizontal. Perpendicular
Yes.
to the
The,
horizontal.
the horizontal established at plumb bob
doesn't
A or
get it,
vertical
man.
line A will not be perpendicular at vertical line B if it's established with a plumb bob. This is basic stuff.
So the perpendicular to the horizontal line that you just established that you can go on and make indefinitely, right? The perpendicular to that line, the horizontal line,
Yes.
perpendicular to horizontal, is a vertical, right?
Yes, at one vertical. So at one line, it is perpendicular.
You made the horizontal from the vertical.
Yes.
Right? You said you can extend that horizontal indefinitely. We did.
Yes.
We moved along the horizontal. We then said, let's make a perpendicular to this horizontal. Now, horizontal and vertical are perpendicular. So that perpendicular to that horizontal.
Your vertical establishes your horizontal. If you do not establish a vertical, you cannot establish a horizontal. So again, I will repeat myself for the 10th time. If you establish a vertical at point A and you extend a horizontal endlessly and you establish another vertical at point B, the horizontal that you established at point A will not be perpendicular at point B.
To a vertical.
To a vertical. The vertical you established at point B will not be perpendicular to the horizontal you established at vertical A.
Okay, but horizontal and vertical are perpendicular.
Only at the point in which you establish it. As soon as you deviate from the point you established your perpendicular,
Okay.
it is no
Okay,
longer
give me 1 sec.
perpendicular.
Give me 1 sec. Is there a difference between a point and a line?
Yes, a line is between 2 points.
Perfect.
Great.
So the straight line extends.
Or are we talking about perpendicular or straight here? Because they don't have the same.
Two perpendiculars. I want
So
two perpendiculars on the same straight line.
It won't happen on the planet. It will not happen on a sphere. It is impossible.
Nope, but the tools can do it.
The tools work the same way as everything else that's been described. You establish a vertical using gravity. We live on a sphere. There will be no two parallel verticals. Therefore, you won't be able to establish a perpendicular line from point A to point B. It is impossible.
We live on a sphere.
It's impossible. Are you saying it's impossible to establish a perpendicular?
It is impossible on a sphere. It's impossible. It won't happen.
But what if it's possible in reality?
You can create it in reality in a small surface area. I've told you this before. Yes, you can. And I've also told you this is why in construction they will use planar surveying to establish a flat plane in order to build a building on. But for highways and canals,
you say it was impossible on a sphere? Just.
You have to compensate. You can still create a perfectly flat surface on a sphere. You just have to compensate.
But you said it was impossible on a sphere.
It's impossible to have perpendiculars, yes.
But in reality, you can have perpendiculars, right?
You can create one, yes. I've said this, on a small enough scale, you can make two verticals.
So it's not impossible then?
It's impossible if your starting point is the center. Yes, it is impossible. If your starting point is the surface, then that changes the dynamics of your calculations.
Okay,
but
so it is possible now.
If you're establishing a vertical with a plumb, it is impossible.
Well, that's how you establish verticals, with plumbs.
That's right. And then you have to compensate depending on your distance. This is where geodetic surveying comes in. You have to compensate for curvature. Geodetic surveying is literally spherical geometry. Planar surveying is literally planar geometry. So there is a purpose for both. We've been through this. There is an application for planar geometry.
Well, have you just said they use different geometries? Because I bet that's going to be a bit hard to back up, right? Especially seeing as Jesse Kozlowski's not around. You've got nobody to help you out with that fucking stupid claim.
Why are you saying that there's no spherical geography? Is that what you're saying?
He just said geography again.
Or geometry. Sorry, it's getting a little late.
Oh yeah.
Rumpus has come to save him. Don't worry.
And which geometry is used in surveying? And in the field?
What's
Local. They just use geometry.
They use planar geometry.
So they use planar, not spherical, because you said spherical geometry, but
right. So when
field,
you're doing highways, when you're building highways, they use spherical geometry. They use geodetic surveying to establish highways. Yes, they do.
Why?
Yes, they do.
Why do you think geodetic surveying is the geometry of a two-dimensional surface of a sphere?
Why?
It's not, it's not.
Why do I what? Sorry?
Why do you imagine that geodetic surveyors, the surveyors that survey the land,
yes,
why do you imagine that they use a two-dimensional geometry? Why do you not suppose that they use a three-dimensional geometry?
At the core of it, I couldn't tell you. I'm sure there's a very good reason, but at the core of it, I'm not 100% sure.
I think there's a very good reason why you said it, but there's no very good reason that they would actually do that, right? There's literally zero reason why they, surveyors, would attempt to use a two-dimensional geometry when there is a perfectly good three-dimensional geometry for them to use, which they already do.
But spherical geometry is literally at the core of it, literally geometry of a sphere on a 2D sort of mindset.
But reality is the reality is 3D, and surveyors survey in reality. Three-dimensional.
Okay,
reality.
so real geodetic surveyors that survey for highways use geodetic data, which is at the core of it based off spherical geometry.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Well, it is. You can deny, but that's what it is.
It's used shortest straight line distances.
If you're going to start making claims, at least back them up.
Okay, so what claim do we want to use here? Geodetic surveyor. Let's go look what a geodetic surveyor does.
Are you using Google?
No, I'm using DuckDuckGo.
Whatever.
Ah, there you go. There you go.
You got that citation yet out of your DuckDuckGo?
Which citations you want? I can give you literally 10 different links that describe what geodetic survey is.
That geodetic survey.
Okay, here, let's go to a...
Why are you doing this? You're not a geodetic surveyor, are you?
Well, you're claiming that they don't exist when they do.
I know surveyors exist. Definitely.
No, geodetic surveyors exist as well.
Yeah, they are surveyors.
Work.
They're just
they
surveyors.
Do not use planar geography. They use spherical geography.
You keep using geography.
Yeah,
geometry. You know what you're doing.
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm saying.
That's why I keep correcting you. Yes, you keep using the wrong words. It's very weird.
That's fine. So.
Right, I just point out to everyone, we are going for a watch party. 9 o'clock. This will not continue because we've got a special showing tonight. Blue Marble Science and Flat Earth Mathematics join forces to teach us all about parallel postulate and changing elevations of horizontals, hopefully. Hopefully we get a bit of LIGO action, straight lines. Come on into the Discord. Have you ever done any surveying?
Babe, for me, I still don't understand the world you're living in. You disagree with the flat earthers, and you disagree with the globe model, and still don't see.
I just come from
where you're
reality.
living. Yeah. Okay. The red
Hang
is
on,
real.
me and Bev don't disagree.
Yeah, the reality. Okay, something physical is it's real. So what is the reality you're talking about?
Yeah, we can prove. I've already said this. We can prove that level is horizontal.
Okay. So what?
So what? So we can prove that level is horizontal.
I still don't understand where you're living in. It is Earth, and how it is for you.
The
Because
Earth is soil. That's it.
Okay. I didn't ask what is it made from, or I'm asking you how it is.
How what is?
How it is. What is its shape? How it is. What is it? What is it?
It's measured. Have you ever measured any of the land?
Measuring what if you don't say what?
The land.
Where do you live in?
The land. Have you ever measured any of it?
The surface, yeah. The water don't curve. Never curve.
Yeah, water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference.
Okay.
That's provable.
Yes. So it's a positive claim. Do you have anything to say other than that? That's the word I want to know. You keep asking question. You don't answer any.
I
went to
can
your channel.
prove that
This
level is horizontal.
So it's vertical.
No,
Are you
level
okay?
is horizontal.
Are you all right?
Level is what for you? Is it tilted? Is it?
It's horizontal.
Okay.
Hello.
So it's horizontal. I know, but because I said it, well, we flat earthers say that level is horizontal. You didn't came with something new.
I said.
My question for you, if you can,
I can prove it.
You don't prove it. I believe you. Can you understand? Do you understand Arabic? Do I have to ask you the question in any other language? So please, do you understand me? Where do you live? This is the response I have always. Is pretty silent. Can you understand me, bro?
Yeah.
At least they say that they live in a ball. Okay, it's not correct. I can prove that there is no curve. Okay, but for you, you're debating. You are debating. What?
What?
You're debating what? if you disagree with the ball, I can understand because you understand that water is
If I'm
always
debating you, I'm going to say it's
no
not flat.
no you were
I
you were
can
debating.
prove it's not flat. And you know how I prove it's not flat? I'd
I
prove to you that level is horizontal, and then
yes,
I'd prove to you how to measure an elevation change. And then I would say this elevation change proves it's not flat.
yeah, but you imagine when we people say the word flat, you imagine like we are talking about a metallic plate
You have
that
a
is
you have a
or,
contradictory
or,
idea of
or
it.
a
I
mirror,
know that.
or a mirror.
You're
When
living in a contradiction, and I said that to you at the beginning.
no, you
I
said
said I
nothing.
can prove it's not
I just
flat.
I corrected you 3 times in a row. And I will correct you again. When I say the word flat, I'm talking about the macro. I'm not talking about the micro.
Well, I'm
I'm
going
not
to
talking
tell
about
you
I'm not
it's
talking about
not
the
flat.
mountains.
It's not
I'm
flat.
not I'm not talking
It's
about
not
the
flat.
mountain. It is
It's
level.
not flat. You're not going to be able to put mountains into the category flat.
No, I
Good.
didn't.
So it's not
I
flat
didn't
then.
put
We're agreed.
I
It's not
didn't
flat.
I didn't put the mountains and in that category. You did
I haven't.
because when I
I say
say
it's not flat.
because when I say the word
Fucking
flat,
hell.
you take no, you can't understand when I said the water.
I'm sure there's more people than
When I
just
said
me here
when I
that
said when
understand
listen,
that
you
it's
don't listen.
not
You just don't listen.
fucking flat.
You can sing it anyway. You can't listen. Okay, so you can scream if you want.
Well, no, it's look, we do actually have a show to go on, and we have to keep pointing out to people. Come into Discord. This will not continue when we go live at 9, or when we come not off live at 9. We will then be watching Blue Marble and Flat Earth Mathematics go head to head. Well, actually, just meeting together for the
So
first
please,
time this
listen,
special
please.
month.
You need
One time only.
you need to understand the thing. When we say flat, we
When you
talk
say
about
we, who are you talking for?
me and the people that are with me here.
People
So
that are
when we
with
say
you. Have you got
yeah,
some there? Okay. It's a group.
you think I'm alone in a planet? No, I'm with people. So when we say flat,
Planet?
when I said, like, for example, the surface of the water is flat, you said there is waves. I'm talking.
Yes.
I corrected you.
And
I
tides as
said
well.
I'm talking about the macro of the of the water. I'm not talking about the micro thing. I'm not talking about a specific place in the water. I'm talking about all the water. All the water. When I say it's flat, it's
And I say
it's
it's not flat, obviously.
it's the same meaning. If I say
If you're taking it as all together, then it's definitely not flat.
so, if for you it's just about the word, because for me, I
I just
don't.
think it's
I
contradictory. I think it's fucking
no,
ridiculous.
no.
And
Listen,
it's obviously
for me,
not
for
flat.
me, when
So
I
to
say
say that it is just
for,
seems ridiculous to me.
for me, when I say flat, something is flat, it means it's level. It means it doesn't deep down or curve up. So it's really flat
But
from point to
mountains
point.
do curve up. And then when you
Yes,
get to the
mountains
top,
do
they
curve
curve
up.
down as well.
Yeah, but the mountain, he couldn't understand. ما غيفهمنيش والله خاصني I need to explain it in other words. So he keep introducing the mountains
It's not
on the
flat.
I'm sorry. No, monsieur.
I know
monsieur.
it's just
Uh,
in reality,
remember,
right?
listen. I was talking with people listening to you.
Mhm.
It's the fifth time you say it. You're saying it.
Yeah, it's
I'm
not
not
flat.
confused.
I'll keep saying it. It's definitely not
Talking
flat.
I'm talking about the thing that the mountains are on its surface. I'm talking and about the thing that there is holes in its surface, and there is.
Cheese.
I'm talking about the whole thing. It is flat. So, I mean by that, it is level from the south to the south. From the south to the south, it's level.
Yeah, you
It
see
doesn't
that sounds
go
ridiculous to
and
me
it
as
doesn't
well.
go up.
I can't help it.
I'm talking about the map. We know the map you can see in the United, it's not United Nations. It is flat level from the point to the point, the two extremities of it.
Well, like I said, I can prove that level is horizontal in reality,
Okay.
and we use
Okay.
that to prove it's not flat.
No, for
Unfortunately, I know.
you're just you're not trying to debate or explain anything. You just want to correct the word because if I understand what you were saying earlier, you agree that it is level. We say it
No,
is
I
level.
don't. I say I can prove that
The
level
moving,
is horizontal.
okay, for you, horizontal is what?
All horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon. Therefore, all horizontals are parallel to each other. I can prove
Okay,
that too.
yeah, and you prove my idea. I don't say that the Earth is going up, or neither it's going down. I'm saying that the pond that we are living in is level. When I say flat, it's level. When I say flat, I explain to you that I mean by it the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not
Is
specifying the land.
is
I'm not specifying a part of it. I'm talking about the whole thing. And I did give you an example.
is a
When I
wall
say that the
flat?
desk is flat,
Is a
I am
wall
not
flat?
taking consideration of the screen
Is a
that is on
wall flat?
the whole thing.
Is a
Yes, but
wall
the
flat?
the macro of the wall, of the wall, yes, it is flat. But when we specify the flatness of it, when we measure the flatness of it, we will find that it isn't. That we will find that there is some points, micros or millimeters of deepness, and there is elevations in there. So yes, when you keep talking about the micro, you will find changes in the elevation.
Okay,
When
so
you
a
talk about
wall
the
is
whole
flat.
thing, the whole wall, the whole stadium, the whole stadium is flat. So we play ball in a stadium that is flat. But for you, I understand you and I agree with you. When you will take a microscope and you will try to find the elevation in
Okay,
that
can we
stadium,
just can
you
you
will
slow
find
down
it.
for
Listen,
a second?
listen,
Like, yeah,
listen,
slow down for a
listen.
second.
I
We're
never
trying to
told you
point
that
out
it is
the
flat,
wall, the
flat like a
wall,
mirror. I never said
like
that
a
it is
mirror
flat
on a
like a mirror.
wall. Is that flat?
Yeah, it
Is
is
that
flat.
flat like your Earth?
What?
Is the mirror on the wall flat like your Earth?
No, it
Okay.
isn't.
So
No,
you
it
have a
isn't.
different
It isn't.
flat Earth
It
than the
isn't.
flat that's
The
on
mirror,
the
the mirror,
wall.
the mirror is, listen. You're mistaking things. You're misunderstanding things. It's not mistaking things. It's misunderstanding. The mirror, without something on its surface, without my wife's makeup, when my wife's makeup put her makeup on the surface of the mirror, and when I put a glass of water on the surface of that mirror,
Oh,
the
so your
mirror is
mirror's
still
not
flat.
on the wall.
Listen, you can't
The
listen.
mirror's not on the wall.
You keep talking.
We were talking
The
about a
mirror,
wall being
I'm
flat,
talking
a
about the
wall or a piece of glass in your
okay.
window, right?
I will
Not
stick
lying
on
it
that
down
wall.
on the
I
floor.
will stick a dummy. I will stick a dummy in that in that mirror on
I
the
think
wall.
you've got a serious case of
The
QE.
mirror. No. You're afraid you will run away. Don't run away. That mirror. When I stick a dummy on that mirror, the mirror still
Stick a dummy
flat.
on the mirror.
The mirror still flat. When I stick something, anything, think about anything.
Is the
When I
mirror on
stick
the wall?
anything on the surface of that mirror, the mirror will still flat, but there is something on its surface, like the earth and the elevation you
Like
are
a
in the
vertical mirror.
It is. I'm talking about flatness.
Yes.
I'm talking
So am
about
I. I'm talking about
It
the
is
mirror that's
not a
vertical.
It's not a horizontal
The
mirror.
vertical mirror. Yes.
Yes.
That's flat. Is
flat.
that
It is
flat
flat.
like your Earth?
It is flat like my Earth when I
On
will
a
stick
vertical plane. You
something
have a
when I
vertically flat
listen,
Earth.
Listen.
You think you
listen.
live on a vertically flat Earth?
No,
This is
no,
why
no,
this is why flat Earth looks ridiculous.
You are talking about if it is
Talking
flat.
about flat. Yes.
You are talking about if it is.
You're acting
flat
as though flat is an orientation.
I told you, you can watch the live.
You're
can watch the live.
acting
Listen,
like
man,
flat
man,
is an orientation. It
Man,
isn't.
it is a shape. You, man.
It's not a
consider
shape.
it as it's a shape.
It's not.
A flat
Flat
disc,
is not a shape.
flat disc, a flat
It's
disc.
not an orientation.
It's the shape of the surface of the disc. A flat mirror.
Disc.
It is the mirror. will
What a
stay
dude,
flat.
come on.
The mirror will stay flat
Disc.
even if you
This
you
is
stick it
what's
on
going on.
Man, you can't listen. You can't because you're suffering cognitive dissonance.
I'm not me. You're the one with the
try,
fucking disc.
Try to listen. I'm not the one running away.
Holy shit.
I'm not the one running away. So your life.
I'm not running anywhere. This is live now. People can hear
Listen.
this.
So listen, and where you.
This is your representing. Who you representing here?
I know, because I saw it, and for that reason I came back to correct you and school you.
You came back to go
listen.
to put this on record.
Okay.
Ridiculous flat earther, disc earther.
Let that cognitive dissonance flow on you. So listen, try, just try. Give it a try. When I'm talking about the flap shape, I'm talking about the shape. I never told you that the earth is vertical.
But that's flat, isn't it?
I was
you can
talking,
get flat vertically, can't you?
Listen, you can't listen, man. You can't.
It's not as if flat is an orientation or anything, is it? It's just a visual surface signifier, isn't it?
The mirror is flat and will stay flat. Even
like your flat earth.
Even if I will put something on its surface, if I put something in its surface, the mirror stay flat.
Flat shape.
The mirror stayed flat, yeah. But when you measure the surface and you try to try to find the elevation, you will find elevation because on the surface of that mirror there is things. Those things
you find elevation because you can measure it.
Are what you call waves, for example, when it's on water, are what you call mountains, are what you call buildings, at what you call holes. Everything on the surface are things on the surface.
Elevation changes, right?
I am talking about only
vertical change on the vertical datum.
Yeah, the surface, the 3D, the 3D. I'm talking about only the 2D dimension, the 2D. I'm talking
You
about
do
the
realize 2D. There's nothing
the
2D in reality. Everything in reality is 3D. Everything.
Yeah. But I'm talking about
Necros, but I have one notion. If you will make hole in your mirror, this mirror will not be flat anymore.
the mirror will stay flat, but with
No, it will not stay flat because
it will
hole
stay flat, but with a hole in it. The
hole.
disc is always flat. Listen, man. Listen, I will give you an example. He's laughing. He's laughing already.
Because this is funny.
Every disc in the world nowadays, they have a hole where you can put the cables
5 minutes.
to
I've got you, mate.
to put them in your screen or your disc PC.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, the disc still flat with the flat surface, even with
like
that.
You're rambling now, mate.
Even you can
see how many times you can say it. Like it's a special word, isn't it?
For you, because you can't understand simple things. I am talking about the shape of the thing. The disc will stay flat surface, no matter you think. Even if it has a hole on it.
Yeah.
Even with the hole, even with the pen, with the pencil in its surface. Think about that pencil as a mountain, for example, or a building or a river. So something on that surface doesn't mean that the surface of that thing that we call Earth isn't flat. So
you've just made it not flat.
No.
Yeah, you put something on the surface to make the surface not flat.
So when I put a cup on the surface of the table isn't flat no more.
Okay,
for you, because you're not living in the same world as me. You're living in the reality.
Necros,
the shape is changing.
Okay,
because
Necros,
of the
please,
things you're putting
for a
on
moment. For a moment, you don't put mountain on Earth. Mountain is part of Earth, isn't it?
Isn't, for example, a volcano created on a surface that was, for example,
Okay, but still,
level? And
is it part? Is volcano part of Earth?
It is. It does.
So,
it didn't
yes.
came from. It didn't came from outer space.
Yes. So it is
Okay,
part
so
of
it
Earth.
is a part of Earth.
So it is not flat.
I'm talking about the macro shape of it.
No,
I'm not talking about the
macro. So
okay,
yeah.
can we end this now? Right, it's obviously going nowhere. We are going to have to go into the private bit, and we are going to be stopping the live stream right now. Come into Discord, click the link, join Discord. We will be continuing on in Discord. So I don't think there'll be any outro. So sorry about that, Rob. But come on, get it into the Discord, and we will see you sometime over the weekend. If not, it will be Monday again. Model Affliction Monday. Obviously, there's loads of people with loads of Model Affliction